for the first 4 years of my life, I went to work with my dad every day instead of going to daycare. So I grew up in the family business right there in the office with my dad and my grandparents, David and Carol, who actually own this tree farm, David Hole Tree Farms in Bell Fountain, Oregon. And then my uncle Wally was also kind of an operations guy with us too. So I spent a lot of time out in the woods, kind of playing in the dirt with my dad on job sites and running around in the bush. And I think that's definitely where a lot of my love for what I do now started out from, was having that exposure to the forest industry from a very young age. Um, and then afterwards, when I started school, pretty much every day off that I had from school, I was going to work with my dad and running around outside or riding in the truck with my papa, pretty much anything I could get my hands on. And then as I grew older, I got into middle school, and that's really when the counselors start hammering kids about, do you want to go to college? And if you want to go to college, what do you want to study? And it's like, oh man, what do I want to do with my life? Because at that point, I liked forestry, but it wasn't, oh yeah, I kind of like it, but I don't know if that's really what I want to do. And I ended up transferring to Fulham with high school in my freshman year and joining the forestry program. And I think from that first year on is when I knew this is right where I need to be, because I love doing this and it doesn't feel like work to me because I love it so much. So I joined the forestry program. I was an officer in our logging sports club my sophomore year, and then I was the president of our club my junior and senior year. So I competed in logging sports for 4 years, and that's kind of how I got started. Well, I joined OWIT my junior year of high school, so almost 4 years ago already, which is crazy. And from there on, I kind of got two different sides of the forestry world. I had the high school program where we were getting our hands dirty and we got to go outside and got to measure trees, and we got to learn, unique skills like cable splicing and cross cutting, which is very old school and traditional, but I think it's pretty cool and neat that we are able to still honor our traditional ancestors and everything. But then when I joined OWIT, I kind of got to see the policy side of things and see how all the things behind the scenes work and educational outreach, and I really fell in love with being able to share my passion with other people, whether it was like-minded people or maybe people who didn't have the same perspective as me. But regardless of who I was talking to, I was just happy to be there and to share my story as well. By about my senior year of high school, reality definitely started to set in. Like, this is where I make a decision that can change my whole entire life. And growing up in Monroe, Corvallis area, we had the number one college of forestry school right in my backyard, essentially. And I started applying for scholarships, and I was able to go full ride my first year at Oregon State. So with that financial support and obviously support from my family and my deep roots in the timber industry, because my family's been a part of this industry for well over 100 years now, that I was like, yeah, this is definitely what I want to do. So I put in my application and I got accepted on the first round of early admissions to Oregon State in the fall of 2021, and so that's how I got into OSU. Oh, it's been a roller coaster ride. It was definitely not exactly what I was expecting, but it's been better than what I was expecting, and I've gotten to meet so many different people, because forestry isn't just about logging or restoration and replanting and everything else. There's so many different aspects that tie into one word, and the industry brings together a lot of people with different perspectives, which I think is awesome. But that's also allowed me to branch out and learn things for myself outside of the family business, and just to be able to have all of these experiences and sources to pull from has been really, really amazing. Well, so right now I'm an intern at Thompson Timber in Fulham with Corvallis area. So I've stepped away from the family business to be able to get some outside experience that's not family related. So I'm hoping to continue working for them for maybe a couple more years just to be able to branch out and get more perspectives on everything. But at the end of the day, I will probably end up right where we're sitting back at the tree farm because this is home to me and this is where my roots have been for 5, 6, 7 generations now. So I hope to come back to David Holt Tree Farms and see where the future takes us because as my papa always says, we're growing trees today for tomorrow's future. Well, for me, definitely being a woman in forestry has a different meaning than most people because, I'm a fifth generation forester, but I'm my family's first female to be able to go to school and have a career in forestry. So that's pretty special to me, but it's also kind of stressful sometimes when I've got the weight of all these pretty legendary people riding on my shoulders. Like my dad and my grandpa have been a huge inspiration to me, so I hope that I can be half the foresters that they are now. And I think being a woman in the woods is pretty special to be able to share that with everybody else and I think OWIT does a really good job of capturing what that means for me at least and being able to share this experience with people and women who feel the same about forestry as me is it's an indescribable feeling to know that there's other people out there that are very determined and motivated to keep these forests healthy and working for future generations.